Yo, what is up?
What's up, Mike? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We are in Denver.
Yeah, we are. I'm in Denver. Welcome, everybody, to the Mike and Mish show. This is a little different than you're used to. My service sucked ass inside the hotel, so I'm out in the park somewhere being aware of wildlife while Mike's up in the hotel chilling.
Yeah, I won't be chilling for long, though, because I actually turned off the AC because it was so friggin' loud in here. I had to turn it off. So I bet you by the end of this, I'm probably going to be sweating my balls off.
Well, dude,
So
we're out
anyways,
here. Yeah, we're
good
out here, man.
afternoon,
What
America. We are good afternoon, America, and good evening to the UK, right? Because this is an all UK show. We got a good lineup here, Kyle. Who do we got coming on?
Oh, man. We got the man himself who runs the BKFC podcast out there in the UK, the Fuse UK. Lou Fuse will be coming on here in a minute to shoot the shit with us, talk all things bare knuckle. And then we're going to have heavyweight 7-1, I believe he is, number 5 in the BKFC heavyweight rankings. The man himself, Mick Terrell, will be coming on. We're going to talk about the state of affairs with the heavyweight division right now. That needs to be talked about. And then some news dropped today, and that's exciting for us because we got the BKFC UK light heavyweight champion, Danny Christie, coming on. The bastard himself is coming on. And that news right there dropped this morning. So we're going to talk to him a little bit about his next fight. He's 3-0, holds gold right now, sits at number 2 in the BKFC light heavyweight rankings, and he's taking on number 4, Jared Captain Deadpool Warren. So we got lots to talk about, Mike.
Yeah, we got a bit lucky with that announcement. I didn't even know that was going to happen. Honestly, that was new. Usually we know some stuff before it happens, but I did not see that coming. So that is awesome that happened this morning. It gives us something extra to talk about. Before we get started with Lou, we do have a new sponsor to shout out. These boys right here. The Shave Parlor, Barber Lounge and Studio, certified shave and fade masters and beard specialists. Jay and Omar give the best fades and shaves in Cape Coral, Florida. So go to 131 Del Prado Boulevard, Unit 101 in Cape Coral, Florida to get your hair did. Right, Kyle? You got to get your hair did.
You got to get yourself right. You can't be showing up to these events and going out and trying to pick up girls with a shitty haircut, right, Mike? So go down and see Jay and Omar. Get yourself right. I know that, hey, my mom and dad live in Cape Coral. Right now, they're up in Connecticut enjoying the end of the summer weather up there. But very shortly, my old man and my mom's going to be going back down to Cape Coral. So I'm going to send his ass through there to get a little fade up, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Get a whole bunch of people through there. I would say I'd send my father-in-law, but he doesn't have any hair anymore. So guess that's maybe he can grow his beard out, though, you know?
Yeah, grow his beard, get a little straight razor tighten lineup there.
Can you imagine him with a lineup with like a real thin, like late 90s lineup?
Yeah. The chin strap?
The chin strap, the chin strappy. Oh, yeah. Can you imagine Big Steve with that thing going on?
No, I could not actually. But I could picture Big Steve with a handlebar mustache, maybe. Like he could pull that shit off.
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan action.
I don't think that is even in the realm of possibility with the way that he is an old school Italian guy. I don't think he's gonna do that. No handlebar mustache for Steve for his entire life. It's never gonna happen.
Hey, before we bring Lou on, which we're excited to talk to him for sure. We've been wanting to get him on for a minute. I want to let everybody know I'm not in my regular realm here, so I can't see who's watching. I can't see comments. So Mike's going to be driving this train tonight or today, and hopefully everybody's tuned in. I'm sure our regulars are going to be jumping in. It is a weird time for us. We're usually at 9 p.m. Eastern time. It's only 1 o'clock out here in Denver and 3 o'clock back home for us, 8 o'clock out in the UK for Lou and his people. So I'm just here as a guest today, buddy.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's the reason why we can never get these guys on, because we're like, hey, let's get someone on. And it's like, hey, you want to come on? It'll be 2 a.m. where you live. You know, it's like, no, I don't think I'm going to get up at 2 a.m. to talk to you for an hour and then go back to sleep. Probably not. Especially
remember we had when we had James Lilly on, he set himself an alarm for 1:30 in the morning, made himself a double espresso, and sat there drinking fucking espresso at 2 a.m. Like, what are you doing, man?
Writing poems.
You're not going to be able to go back to sleep. But is our guest here?
He is. He's in the waiting room. He's ready to come in. So let's get him in here. Without much further ado, let's get Lou Fuse up on the screen. Lou.
What's happening, lads?
What is going on, man? Welcome.
Thank you very much, mate. I love what you're doing, by the way. Loving it. Watching all your podcasts and that. It's good to see other people doing it for the bare knuckle.
Oh, yeah, man. You know, we started this as a little hobby on the side. You know that so you watch the show, you know that Mike and I are both actively in the military. We started this thing as a little hobby, and it turned into something that we can really do some good stuff for the growth of the sport. We were talking MMA, and we were talking MMA mostly at the beginning. Then I started getting some bare knuckle fighters on, and we swerved, man. We saw that fork in the road, and we were like, fuck it, let's go full bore bare knuckle, because this is the newest, greatest thing. So here we are.
Definitely is, mate. Definitely is.
So, Lou, what is going on, man? Good evening. It's 8 p.m. over there, as we've already spoken about. It's late.
Yeah.
We can finally get you on because we've got a day off of work, and we're going to talk all about Lou Fuse at first, and hopefully you can stick around and talk with Mick and Danny with us and see what they're up to too. So, awesome. So let's begin by asking, how did you get into this? Everybody that watches our show, they may watch your show too. I don't know who watches it, who doesn't, but I sure as hell don't know how you got started. And I know you do a lot of underground fight coverage and stuff like that. So what's up? How'd you get into all this?
Well, basically, mate, I've always been like a boxing fan from being young, and I've always liked watching the traveling lads in England, like when they've met up for bare knuckle fights. I've always loved watching them. And obviously, you've seen the way boxing's going now. It's ridiculous, man. Like, it's so corrupt, and the robberies you see, fighters getting, like, winning world titles, but getting it taken away from them in a robbery, and it's just too much. And I remember watching Jason Knight and Artem Lobov when the bare knuckle, and I thought, wow, this is different gravy. This is different gravy. And then ever since then, mate, I just went full force at it.
That fight, I think, did that for everyone.
That is, I was going to say, that is the one where I had seen a little bit of BKFC, but I was a diehard MMA guy before. Yeah. And then it was the Artem Lobov, Jason Knight one that completely sucked me in. I was like, what the hell is this? This is fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, the way Jason Knight, like, his fucking face was all bust up, and he's just not bothered at all. And at the end, like, when they both have finished the fight and they're just absolutely exhausted, the faces are all swollen, they're just like shit. It's just amazing, mate. You can't get any better or purer than bare knuckle, can you?
No. There was a picture of Jason Knight after that fight, after he got all stitched up and everything, and he looks like the bad guy in a horror movie. Like, he's the guy killing and chasing everybody around in a horror movie. He looks like he has zippers all over his face.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. There's some mental injuries as well as in there in bare knuckle. I sent you one, didn't I, yesterday, Mike?
Oh yeah. We were looking at it. We were on the plane, and there was a guy happened to sit between me and Kyle, and we were just talking to him about what we do and everything. And you sent me that, and we were showing him. He was blown away. He was like, "Oh my God, what is going on with this sport?" And he's like, "I gotta watch it though." Now he's intrigued, you know?
Yeah, of course. But like I say, after that fight, I just fully just focused on watching the BKFC and researching on it, and then obviously found out the exciting news that it was coming to the UK, and then it was just everything was full force even more.
I mean,
Yeah,
and naturally, it had to get over into the UK, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, the Gypsy, the Travelers, like the history of bare knuckle fighting in Europe, like they had to get their asses over there and touchdown for sure.
Yeah, of course, mate. And every show over the UK has been class. Like we've got loads of great fighters. I'd just like to see like more, like crossovers. It'd be good to see more like UK and USA crossovers.
Yeah, like the one that we were just talking about, kind of.
They couldn't have timed that any better, could they?
I know.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
They knew
Go
you
ahead,
were
Mike.
coming on, so they were like, well, we got to do this, right? We got to release it. Fuse is going on, Mike and Mish. We got to let it go.
Yeah, of course, mate. That was definitely the reason.
Yeah. That's a hell of a fight, though, man. Danny Christie is he is no joke. That fucking dude. He's shown progression from his first fight to his third fight, and just from the first fight to the second fight, he looked like he basically was right at home when he took care of that guy so quick in the second fight. And then in the third one, he already proved his toughness in the first one, but against Anthony Holmes, holy shit, what a banger that was. That was a classic. And then the knockout at the end, he's a fucking dog. And it's gonna be a good one with Jared Warren.
Made that night in Leeds when he won the belt of Anthony Holmes, the atmosphere and everything, it was unbelievable, mate. Like, it was probably one of the best nights I've ever had in my life, to be honest. It was just amazing, the feeling of everything in the stadium, how happy people were, and because it was and the weird thing about it as well, on that main event fight, something happened to the electric, I can't remember, and the sound system went off. So when the fighters were walking out, it was there was no music, so it was even more like eerie. Do you know what I mean? Just walking out silent with all you could hear was the crowd and people talking. It was amazing.
That's right. They didn't even have the ring announcer, right? The ring announcer didn't even introduce them, right?
Yeah, something happened. I can't remember what it was. They said what had happened, but I can't remember what it was now. But
They blew a fuse.
They
must have blew a fuse.
I took the fuse. But yeah, just say there as well about Danny being ranked second, but I think it should be first in a way because Mundell's not coming back to 185, is he? And he's ranked as number one.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think he's going to stick where he is right now. He kind of has to, stay there and defend. And yeah, how about that fight? Actually, how about that one with the Coltrane?
What's that? Sorry. Oh yeah, another great fight that's just been announced, hasn't it?
Yeah, just yesterday. Kyle and I went to this place, right? Oh my God. I wish I brought all these pictures up. There's a place called Two Hands Corn Dogs. Okay. Chris Camozzi told us about this place. And I was like, I don't know. I'm not really big into the corn dogs and stuff, but whatever. I'll try it out. They had some pretty cool ones on the menu. It's a Korean corn dog, though. It's a bit different than the Americanized one, but we went there. This place was fantastic. I had one that was like deep fried, half mozzarella cheese, half hot dog, and then it was deep fried. They put some weird sauce on it. There was deep fried potatoes stuck to the outside of it. They put some cheese sauce or something, the ranch sauce on it, and then they crushed up hot Cheetos and they sprinkle it on there. It sounds insanely disgusting, but I'm telling you, it was great.
It was good.
Yeah, you use the boyos for doing all that type of food, aren't you? Like all the it's like street type food, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh yeah. I ate 3 of them. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like a piece of shit when I left there. I felt like I took a year or 2 off my life, but it was worth it for the experience, I think.
Yeah, class. What fighters do you use? Follow and who do you like in the UK?
So I was gonna ask you that. So obviously the big name ones, Terrell and Connor and Christie, Rico Franco. How big are these guys? Are they big stars over there? Are people really getting into the BKFC overseas? Because I know BKB was the thing for a long time there, and BKFC kind of, came into their territory. What's the buzz like with the fans over there? And are the guys that I just mentioned like the big stars over there?
Well, yeah, the BKFC's grown even more in the UK, but for like getting recognised and things like that, I went to Sweden not long ago with Danny, and this was for like another bare knuckle event that we just went there as guests. And when we were going through the airport, like people were recognising him for photos. Someone in Sweden recognised him. Do you know what I mean? When we were coming back, like they get recognised all over really now. I remember coming back from the tryouts as well. And we were going through like like a tunnel that goes underwater, and you go through a toll where you want to pay. And we had like all BKFC tops on. So he was like, "Oh, have you just been to the BKFC?" He was like, "Oh, Danny Christie's just drove past here. You've just missed him." We were like, "Oh,
No way.
That's awesome.
That is cool. It's funny because it's been around for 5 years here in the United States, and I feel like it's just now starting to get recognized by bigger media outlets like Joe Rogan, and MMA Junkie covers it now. You got John Morgan talking about it, getting BKFC fighters on. It took a while, and I personally thought it was gonna get more popular faster, but it was weird how people in the United States went right back to like 1993 state of mind when MMA started. Like they were pushing back hard on this. They thought it was some fucking gladiator blood sport, and too dangerous, too disgusting to hit somebody with a bare hand. You could kick somebody in the face with a shin bone all day long. You could elbow them on the floor, choke somebody unconscious. That's fine, but bare knuckles, they were like, no. But now, 5 years later, I think it's really starting to catch on.
Yeah, 100%. And like going to these events and things as well just totally changes it, the atmosphere, and witnessing it live. Do you know what I mean? You'll know yourselves going to the events. There's nothing like it, is there?
Oh, no way. No way. I
You get
tell
them.
people all the time, I'm like, it's great to watch it because we at our job, nobody really knew about it. Now everybody pretty much knows about it. So that's the great thing. We spread the word, get people to watch it. But we always tell them, like, once they come up to the Northeast, because there is no states that have legalized BK in the Northeast here in the United States. So we're like, and we're from New England. So once they get up here, I think Massachusetts, we've heard, is very close to happening. So let's cross our fingers that happens soon and they go to Boston or something, because that'll be insane, But once you're there and you hear that real first good shot that lands, that good pop, that snap, that crackle, that slap, I don't know. There's just something to it that you just can't match it. You can't. You have to be there. You have to feel it. You hear it and you kind of can feel it go through you. It's just like, it makes you like tense up a little bit. You're like, oh God, what the? Get you hyped up,
And when you see some of the fighters all bust up, the faces hanging off, and they're still stood there, like, come on, let's have it. Just the hearts that they've got. It's unbelievable.
It really is.
I also think that like the way they've gone about producing these shows is the perfect. So we talk about it on this show every once in a while, the pace of the show. People don't want to go to an arena and be there for 5-6 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These guys, they get the fighters down to the ring. The fights are quick. They're 5 2-minute rounds. Not too many of them go all 5. The fight's over. They get the guys in the back. And by the time the guys are in the back, the next 2 are basically behind the curtain getting ready to make the walk out. There might be a minute or 2 buffer, a couple minutes between fights. Next fight's going. It's quick. You get 12 fights in 3 hours every damn time. The production value is fantastic. It is just as good as any of the biggest organizations out there. It's a great product. And I think that they went about it the right way for sure.
Yeah, definitely. That's why, like, in like BKFC, you'll see events and they're practically full from the beginning to the end, where you watch a boxing card. It's only the main card and the core main, really, where it's packed in it.
Oh, absolutely. And the first time we were out here in Denver, now Denver, Colorado is a fight town for sure. Like everybody in this town knew that the event was going on. usually Mike and I will come out here a few days before the event, and we do street team stuff. We hit up bars. We go bar to bar, gym to gym, and we'll spread the word. Everybody knew that it was already going on. Everybody was already going, and it was packed basically from fight number one, because they put Keegan Vandermeer, a local fighter, in the opening bout of that first card. And the sound, the pop in the arena when he knocked that dude out was so goddamn
Vincent.
loud. I was like, this is the loudest arena I've heard on a prelim fight, I think, in my entire life. It was fucking crazy. I loved it.
Yeah, it's mint. Have you been over to the UK yet? Did you go to the Wembley show, the debut?
No, I wish.
He's going to come over one day, though.
Absolutely. It's on the list of things to do for sure.
That in Thailand.
Thailand would be a good one, wouldn't it? That Bo fight's going to be good, isn't it?
Oh man, that's going to be insane.
This is another thing I was going to ask you there as well, because I heard on a podcast that he's done the other day, he's were debating it with someone, and is that they're allowed everything Muay Thai from the waist up, is it? They're allowed to elbow and that.
I don't know what the modified rules. We'll get clarification when we talk to some people today, because they said it's going to be a modified bare knuckle Muay Thai rule set. So I don't know if they're going to be able to elbow each other and whatnot. I hope so. That'd be cool.
There's some mess, wasn't there, after that?
Yeah. I remember, because they were going to have this fight a while ago. And when they first did that, I thought it was going to be Muay Thai rules. Like, you're going to be able to do basically anything. And then it kind of got put on the back burner for a little bit. Now it's going to happen. But yeah, I don't know. I really haven't heard much about the exact
I think nothing, no legs. They're not going to be able to knee or kick or anything like that. But maybe the modified rule set is like you could tie, you can tie up and throw them like Muay Thai elbows. That would be fucking awesome. They should let them do letway and headbutt each other too. That'd be great.
I think it's like, obviously with that one, they'd have to do it with that. But I think it should stay like that as a one-off. Like, I think they should only stick to the fists in it and keep it unique. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, it's great. They're both legends in their own right, in their own sport. But now you're coming to BKFC, and that's what people want to see. It's just like when, the influencer fight thing that happened at BKFC 19, and they had them come out with gloves. Like, yes, they're influencers, but I feel like you're going to have them come out and fight, take the gloves off of them and make them fight each other bare knuckle, because that's what this is, right? This is bare knuckle. This is where people come to watch people punch each other in the face with bare knuckles. Like, that's all it should be.
Yeah, definitely. But
that was definitely a mistake that they made, and it was completely recognized by the brass. And Feldman himself said that'll never happen again. Even if they do influencer fights again in the future, they're not going to wear gloves, because that's not what we do, and it did dilute the product that night. So he made that pretty clear.
Makes it even more exciting, though, doesn't it? Like, say, like Bryce Hall when he come in for bare knuckle against Perez, like, just like the balls of him. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I don't really think he got the respect he deserved. Do you know what I mean? Because he was going in there with someone who was 3-0 as well. Was he 3-0 at the time?
Yeah. G was 3-0.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He hasn't just went in there and fought a debutant. He's jumped in the deep end, hasn't he?
I know. Yeah, it's wild, really, to do that, because he boxed against Austin McBroom, who they're saying might be fighting G now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just jumped right in, all in.
It was too bad that G had that injury. We actually talked to him yesterday. He's getting it fixed. He's going to be out for a little bit, but he's looking to get right back in there, like Mike said, against McBroom. Get that win, he said, and then get that fight back with Bryce. I didn't know if Bryce was going to do it more than once, but it sounds like he's interested in doing it again. So the kid's got balls, that's for sure. He said it.
Yeah, it'd be hard for him not to come back, leaving with a win, won't it? It's another payday for a minute with him having a win.
Yeah. You guys got another UK fighter in a title fight next week against
Melanie
Britain Hart, Melanie Shaw. Melanie, I got to tell you, man, I don't know if I've ever seen a single BKFC fighter, male or female, with the pace that she puts out. It is absolutely relentless from bell to bell. And she is definitely the take damage to give damage type fighter. So she's exciting every single time she steps in there. What are your thoughts on Melanie Shaw getting that title shot against Britain after only a couple fights? And how do you see that one going?
I think she's class, mate. Like, she fought Matilda Wilson at the BKFC Newcastle, and just the pace of her, just keep coming forward. Like, it doesn't seem like she can get hurt. It really does not seem like she can get hurt. I know she, in her last fight, she got dropped, but it was more of like a stun shot, wasn't it? She was straight back up on her feet and straight back into her. I really don't think she can get hurt. I know Britain Hart's a very tough fight, and she's a class fighter. Deserves to be world champion. But Melanie Shaw could be the first UK world champion.
It is crazy. That's fast tracking for sure for Melanie. Now, like you just said, Britain is, top of the top for female fighters. She's only lost to the best. You know what I mean? And even though she has fought Beck and Misfit and everyone, like I said, I don't think anybody's brought a pace like that. So I'm really curious to see how Britain handles that. And if Melanie's willing to take the same kind of damage to give damage with Britain, or if she's going to approach it a little more conservative this time. I'm curious about that.
That's the thing. Like, obviously, Britain Hart's a better technical boxer, but what if she's not giving her the time to use her boxing? She's just in her face around the ring all night.
It's interesting.
Not giving her the chance to get her boxing off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And like you said, she could be the first UK bare knuckle world champion. I thought that Danny's next fight, I thought when he won the UK light heavyweight title, that was his golden ticket to Lorenzo Hunt. But Lorenzo's the double champ. He has two divisions to be defending titles in. So we got this Jared Warren fight now. I wonder, how does that work? And maybe we'll get these answers when we go to the arena tonight and we talk to some people. Is Jared Warren going over to Leeds to fight him for the UK belt, or is this just a fight to see who fights Lorenzo next? It's interesting to me.
I'm not sure, but what I think they should do is just my opinion, like, I think they should make this fight for the interim, because hasn't Warren just fought for it and it got called a no contest against Josh Dyer? So
that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Well, is up for grabs, isn't it? So they might, with it being in a big fight and Jared Warren coming over to the UK, it'd be great if they made this fight for the interim title.
Yeah, I forgot all about the Jared Warren, Josh Dyer interim title fight. So you're right.
No one ever got it.
That was on the line there. That's a great point. I hope that they do that. I would love to see a Danny Christie. I'd love to see Jared Warren take a shot at Lorenzo as well, but we had been talking about Danny Christie and Lorenzo at 185. That fight is intriguing as hell. Yeah,
I just wanted to say big up to Kevin Smith there as well. He done a shout out on the page while we were talking, but I didn't want to interrupt. Nice one, Kevin, mate.
Yeah, you got a bunch of people in here that love you, man. They're in here. You've got just got Ryan Baxter says hello from the UK. You had a whole bunch of people we shared earlier. This guy right here, I believe he's talking about you, Mondo Gecko Photography. He says, I captured my first bare knuckle event a month ago or so. It was a pleasure to meet you, mate. And the whole event, the noise of impact, etc., blew my mind. Next event is this Saturday. Big time. And also you have a question from the biggest fan, the Big Ben of the BKFC, but not Ben Rothwell. Big Ben 316 says, Mike, ask him if he thinks Jimmy Sweeney would ever fight in BKFC. What do you think?
Nah, I don't think he would.
I didn't think so either. That's also mine. I don't think he's going to do it. I don't even know how many fights he's even going to fight ever again. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I think he's still doing bits with the promotion he's with, isn't he? But he's getting easy enough fights there, isn't he? And probably getting good money, so there'll be no reason for him to come over, really.
Yeah, how many fights does he have? Like he's got to have 20, like 19, 20, 20 something. That dude's got so many.
It's close to 30 now.
30
right now.
I know he's got like a
17-4.
Is that what it is? I thought it was more than that.
It's still a lot though, I think. And who knows how many, underground fights that he's been in too, that's not even on there, that, never been picked up by BoxRec or Tapology or anything, speaking about those, like you put up a lot of videos of you like meeting up under a bridge or some shit like that. Not to go into many details and stuff like that to get anybody in trouble, but like how the heck did that happen? How do you get pulled into those? They just say, hey man, Lou's going to come down and cover this thing.
Well, sometimes it's lads who were involved in the bare knuckle scene. Do you know what I mean? And like there was not many people covering the bare knuckle, and especially in the UK, like there was only really me who was doing it not long ago. And so obviously some people reached out to me and things. But you're on about the one that's recently just happened with Robbie Brown under the bridge? Did you say?
I don't know. Because I go through and I watch fights that you put up. And I don't know the guy's names. I just go through and I watch these guys fight, and they're fighting like on the street under a bridge. A lot of time I feel like it's under a bridge. What is that? Is that like just because it's like? Hey, I've only
ever been to one under a bridge, but they're mainly some of the fights are mainly like traveling lads just having like fair play fights, and some of them are no rules fights. Like the one, the first one I done. Was with an organisation, King of the Streets. Have you heard of them?
Yes.
I got it brought up. Well, Liam Wilson, who's a fighter for him, rang me up and said, have you got a location we can have a fight? So I sorted the location out, and they ended up having it in the town where I live. And anyways, one of the lads, he just ended up getting bitten off. But it was a bit nasty, like.
Can't they stomp people's heads and stuff in that one?
Yeah, I don't like it. Like, it was the first one I really went to. I wasn't expecting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like left way type of thing. I didn't expect ears to get bit off and eyes gouged, things like that.
Yeah, that one's brutal. I've seen a couple of fights from there just popping up in like my feed, like a watch feed on Facebook, or those are the ones where it's like it's got 20 million views because the guy gets knocked out and then somebody stomps his head into the concrete. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, the dude's out cold. You stomped his head in. Like, it's insane. That's really crazy stuff.
Too fucking far, innit?
Yeah, I think it definitely is.
The last one I went to, where one of the lads, he fights for BKFC now, actually, Robbie Brown. He was fighting someone and he was on top of him, and the back of his head was pissing blood out. And he's like, look, do you want to stop? I don't really want to. Do you know what I mean? He was like, he just stopped and didn't want to go no more because it was getting a bit out of hand.
Yeah.
That's how it should be, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, are these guys like agreeing on a dollar amount and they both got to bring that amount of money? Like, what are they fighting for? Are they fighting for a pot of money or what?
No, mate. So. The majority of the time in them type of fights, it's for free. I know that they did get a bit. I think they did get a bit of money somehow, but I think the majority of them no rules fights are for free.
Wow, that's just crazy. That makes it even crazier than it already was.
One of the lads over, like in the countries where they do it, like abroad, he's like blind in one eye, and he was fighting. His next fight was with a person who was notorious for eye gouging, so he could be like 100% blind.
Jeez, I always remember watching the documentary Knuckle, and it followed Quinn McDonough and the McDonough family, and the other I can't remember the other family, but they had that decades long feud going, and they would like basically call each other and agree on a dollar amount at a location in like a cornfield somewhere, and the two of them would show up, fight till it's done, and then someone takes home a bag of money. It was like crazy.
Yeah, some of them traveller fights, they fight for big money, like £250,000 and things like that.
Holy shit. Is that is James Quinn McDonough still like around? Does he pop in at the any of the events over there?
I remember seeing him at BKFC Wembley. I can't remember seeing him at anymore. I might have seen him at the Leeds show. I might be wrong there though, but I definitely seen him at Wembley.
Yeah, that I remember watching that and just being blown away by that whole scene. That whole traveler life is just crazy to me. But yeah, man, this next Leeds one in November, I'm curious to see who else they throw on that card. I wonder if they're gonna, go off of the that's the main event. You got a U.S. fighter against a UK fighter. I wonder if they're gonna throw a few more of those on there, make it kind of like a USA versus UK type thing.
Whoa, it'd be hard to see, but it'd be good. It'd be good if they'd done that though. It's normally just one, isn't it?
Just the one. Did you make it out to the MVP Mike Perry fight?
Yeah, I've been to them all in the UK.
You've been to them all. What was that event like? I mean, that one, MVP is a freaking superstar, and Mike Perry is becoming like a mega superstar in the sport. The build up to that one was fantastic. Mike is hilarious. Everything they were doing with him and MVP building up to it. Talk a little bit about that night.
Oh, it was unreal, mate. Quality, unbelievable venue. The production that the BKFC do is unbelievable with all them bright screens and lights and stages. And the lineup as well, obviously, had big Mick Terrell on there, Danny Christie, Conatini versus Joe Elmore. What a fight that was.
Oh, that was great.
Was the core main. That was quality. And obviously the main event. There was all that card was incredible from top to bottom.
I think Bostwick was on that card too, right? Didn't they have?
Yeah, he fought Chris Fishgold, who's been in the UFC and that.
That's right. Yep.
He looked so good in that fight.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's class.
Mike, hey Mike, what was the song that they played in between every single round of the entire event the last UK card?
Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline. Do you guys get sick of hearing that at the arena, man? Because like it's hilarious.
It's all like the merry crowd. We're all tanked up on the beer in it, and they just love it.
It is good. It is cool because, like, for UK and Ireland, there's a lot of singing and sing-alongs that happen. You don't really get that here. People don't really do that shit in the United States. It's very weird. However, if you do go to like, okay, so college football, say, they always have some kind of a what do you call it? Phrase. It's like a phrase that they all say. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they'll chant that. It's like a chant, right? They just say it over and over again, whatever. But you don't get people singing entire songs when they come on, like Sweet Caroline, and the way that the like when Conor McGregor would fight, or anybody in Ireland or here that's an Irish fighter, they'll just start going. The whole place just starts like exploding. You know,
they do the ole, 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 ole.
Yes.
Ole, ole, ole.
It's like though, like Conatini's fans are all football fans that we goes to the game with and his football mates, you know what I mean? So they're all singing football songs there. I'll send you a video after the podcast where I think it's Wembley. They're singing Sweet Caroline, and I turn the camera around and there's just loads of lads with all the tops off, just swinging them round.
You know, in Boston, Massachusetts, at Fenway Park, in between it's not the 7th inning stretch because they sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." I think it's in the 8th inning. Every single Red Sox home game, they play "Sweet Caroline," and the entire Fenway Park stadium sings along to that. So we do have "Sweet Caroline" as well at Fenway.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. Mike, are we going to bring Danny Christie on here and triple team him with Lou?
Yeah. Well, Mick Terrell was going to come on here, but he's having technical difficulties. So I don't know if you guys have seen me like going here and back and forth while we're talking, because I'm trying to get him in here. I tried to send him the link a few different times. He's having issues trying to get in. I don't know what's going on. Earlier, Kyle's camera would not come on, right? We're trying to prepare to try to find the best spot to do this with the, so we could have good quality audio, good picture, and all that stuff. That's why Kyle's outside, because that's what we found would be the best for him. Just go outside and get out there, because he's a goddamn animal, and that's where he belongs. So, and I was getting good coverage here, but we've been having some issues with StreamYard. It does happen from time to time. And when you go live, man, this is what you get. You go with the flow. So I'm trying to work with Kevin Smith, actually, to get Mick in here, and I'm sending him stuff, but it just is not working right now. So I just sent Christie the invite. Let's hope that he doesn't have issues too, because this show, you know, we wanted to get him in here and, you know, get a good conversation between all of us.
So while we're waiting on Mick, let me ask you, Lou, the heavyweight title went vacant, you know, I want to say like 3 or 4 months ago now. It's been dangling in the wind out there. Arnold Adams obviously should get a shot at whoever they're going to put him up against. I don't believe he lost to Alan Belcher. I think that he got really hosed in that fight, to be honest with you. So Arnold should be one guy in the ring when they do decide to put that belt back on the line. I've personally been saying that Mick should be the other guy. A lot of people are saying Big Ben Rothwell. Josh Watson wants Ben Rothwell. So what's your train of thought when you think about that heavyweight division?
Well, my thoughts on it is because I think Mick and Arnold Adams should fight for the title again. Because everybody knows, like, obviously in the company, the fans who were like involved in it, that Mick wasn't 100% in that fight over in America. Obviously, and he's won Panda Banks, he won Shoemaker, so he's climbed his way back up the rankings. I think it was actually for a title eliminator when he fought Panda Banks. Like, he was meant to get the shot then, so I think he's been waiting since then, actually. So hopefully it happens.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you. It should be against Arnold Adams. I do agree that.
Hey, let me break in here real quick and tell you, Terrell's here, so I'm going to bring him in. Not going to waste any more time, because let's get him in, because I know Danny Christie's watching right now, and he said, need a link. I just sent it to your Instagram, buddy, and we'll bring Mick Terrell, heavyweight. Is he going for the title? Is he not? What the heck's going on? I feel like they've been leaving this guy behind. Let's get him in here and figure out what's going on.
All right.
Hey.
How you doing?
All right, Mick.
I'm not too bad. How's you?
Oh, man.
Hey, welcome, Mick. Welcome. How are you?
I'm not too bad. How's you?
Doing great, man, in Denver. Ready for these fights.
Look at this weather. Look at this weather that I'm in out here, man. I don't have a complaint in the world.
That's a lot better than England.
What is it? Is your summers hot over there? I don't even know. I'm just such a dummy when it comes to this kind of shit. Is it cold in London right now, or England?
Well, we're at the north up by Scotland, me and Lou. So I think we'd be lucky if we get like 22, 23 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit over yours.
Oh, man, that's toughy.
Hey, so let's go like this. Mick.
Yeah.
Mick,
I'll be 73 here.
73. Okay, let's get right into this, man. We were just talking to Lou about it. Arnold Adams and Alan Belcher fought a few months back. Belcher became the champ. He was going to defend it, ended up leaving, vacating the title. So the belt's been out there. What are the conversations like with you right now? And what are your thoughts about that title and where you stand in this whole conversation?
Obviously, I can't say too much. What I can say is I will be fighting in the United States in December. And it's possibly for a world title. But I think that's all I've been allowed to say.
Lovely.
Yeah, that is lovely. I gotta say, that Dallas. I'm guessing. Mike Perry was on Ariel Helwani's show 2 weeks ago and may have mentioned something that he wasn't supposed to talk about, but Dallas in December was discussed on the Ariel Helwani MMA Hour. Hopefully, that's what you're leaning towards there, and hopefully that belt's there, man, because we all know that when you fought Arnold the first time, You weren't 100%. That was during the COVID. That was during the pandemic. Everybody was all fucked up during that time. But now you're healthy. You're coming off a 2-fight win streak. You look great against Steve Banks. I think that you absolutely should be in there.
I mean, the first time I fought Arnold, it's funny, because you're just not well. If I never fought that fight, everyone would have called us a coward. So, like, you're in a position where you've got to just fight, even though you're not well, just because I'm not a coward. I would just say, even if my arm got chopped off, I'll probably still fight. It's just that's the way I am. But it was a nightmare. I lost 2.5 stone in a week, and I had to fight, and it was horrible. And that was a horrible circumstance, but at least I wasn't a coward. So it's either you pull out and you're a coward, or you get filled in.
I feel like fighters always get the shit end of the stick. You do one thing, you're a coward. You do the other one, you're this. You don't want to fight this guy. You're running from that guy because you did fight this guy. It's insane. You can never win, really. It's just the way it goes. I mean, hopefully, when I fought Sam was, I don't want to say it was an easy fight, but I caught, what it is? I think I beat Sam actually before the fight. I was winding him up, and Sam's big and ginger, and my padman's little and ginger. So I was calling him Mini-Me. So I was trying to get him a picture, standing like that, getting a picture, and Sam didn't want to do it. And I was going, no, Sam, I will come get this picture taken. But I think I just got in his head a little bit before the fight, and he nearly actually hit us in the first round. I'm glad he didn't, because it north went past my face. But I think I just beat him before the fight, and then Panda. He was a big lad, actually, and I don't know if it doesn't show you on the camera, but he started doing the splits, as I come out. So I'm standing watching him as we're just about to fight, and he just jumped out on the splits. And I was thinking, for a fat lad, he was quite flexible. So I thought, I'm going to be in trouble a little bit, because he seemed fit, and he's very experienced. But it was difficult. He's left-handed, and the plan was to circle to my left, obviously to keep away from his left hand, but he was quite good at closing the gap. So he kept closing. So at first I was trying to catch him. He was catching us with the left hand on the way out. So I had a right hand roll under and then come back with like a second phase. But it was a funny fight, because I thought his eye fell out. When I was punching him, he just kept cutting different places. And I'll tell you what his eye looked like, like a little arsehole, how it's a starfish. His eye looked like a little starfish, like a little, like usually call it an arsehole. That's what his eye looked like. So I punched him, and something fell out. So I thought his eye had fell out. So I've stepped back. I was just as gum shield, so I was devastated. So I could have kept going. I punched him.
So you punched his eye into an asshole.
That's what it looked like.
That's fucking now, Lou, you haven't missed any of these fights. That Steve Panda Banks, had you ever seen him fight before you saw him take Mick on? And were you guys aware that he's coming off of like fighting 3-on-1s and tag team fights and shit like that at Fight Circus? Were you guys aware of this?
Yeah, obviously when it got mentioned that he was fighting Mick, obviously he'd done research and seen all the videos, but he was all he was like WBC champion and all that, wasn't he?
He was. He in Muay Thai, right?
Well, yeah, I'm a Thai boxer, so originally, I knew of him just because he fought Daniel Sam years ago, another English fighter. Daniel Sam's really good heavyweight, and so I knew of him, but I didn't realize how big he was.
Man, there's a great picture of him. Actually, Lou might have posted the picture. It was him and Melanie Shaw standing together.
Actually,
and they are. You have that, dude. Yeah, there it is.
Lou sent this, and thank you, Lou, for this picture, because you guys were just talking about it. Remembered you sent it, so I just uploaded it as we were talking here.
Yeah, look at that. That's a great shot. Those two are a couple warriors right there.
It's insane.
You know what, as well, that Panda Banks, like we talked to him after it, he's a lovely guy as well, isn't he, Mick?
I was just about to jump in and say that, what a nice bloke he is, It's we're getting stitched up after because I got a few stitches in my eye and he got lots of stitches in his face. And I'm having to talk to him, but I just kept saying sorry because after the fight you've got no malice towards him, and he was quite cut, you know. So I was going,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you know, I'm sorry, and he's going, oh, don't worry about it, man, just don't worry. But I think he got about 20 to 40 stitches in his face.
Oh
Wow.
my God. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's those after fight photos are just incredible, and that's something like so unique to this sport. Obviously, MMA and boxing has their few and far in between great shots like that, but it's almost like every event you get a beautiful post-fight shot like that one right there of some incredible damage that they took, but it's all superficial. You know what I mean? It's all cuts. They'll heal.
He was healed after 2 weeks. I think he was back to normal after 2 weeks.
It's the craziest thing how fast people heal from injuries like that because their faces are they're exploded in every place in there. It's all swollen up. And then 2 weeks later, it's like a little bit of bruising. You know, the stitches are already coming out. It's like, wait, what the hell? What are you, Wolverine?
It was
insane.
funny though, because I was worried about my fitness in that fight. Lou will know this one. I broke my foot about 6 weeks before that fight.
Oh, no.
And I got burgled. Somebody burgled us, pinched my son's bike. And obviously I got hold of him and gave him a go kicking. And broke my foot on the burglar's head. And then, honestly, my foot went massive. So, like, I couldn't run at anything for the fight, so I was panicking. So me and my coach one, we're trying to work with our ways to try and get fit without running. Obviously, because I couldn't have a broken foot. But I was lucky the fitness was okay.
I remember after that fight in the hotel when Panda Banks, the same night of the fight, he was stood in the lobby with a McDonald's. And he's like, oh no, they don't recognise me. And I was like, looked around what he's on about. He was on FaceTime to his dogs. In Thailand, normally when he goes on the FaceTime, they're all excited on the phone, and the dogs didn't recognise him.
That is funny, man.
They couldn't smell him because he wasn't there.
Panda's got that little hair patch on the back of his head too. He's got an interesting style there. I don't know what that's all about, but he's got that little square of hair on the back of his head.
Yeah,
not anymore. Not anymore. That was the bet, wasn't it? We had a bet. If I lost the fight, I had to shave my hair off and my eyebrows. And if Panda lost, he had to shave the ponytail off.
So he got rid of it? Nice.
He did, but his eyes were that cut, he couldn't shave his eyebrows off. And then he had to go for an interview for the, to move over there. And he says, before he texts us, he went, Mick, is it okay if I keep my eyebrows? I've got to have an interview for my immigration. It's going to look bad if I haven't got any eyebrows. I let him off. I said, you can keep your eyebrows.
That is fantastic.
That is pretty funny. Who is this lunatic with no eyebrows?
Yeah. Well, circling back to you and your division, what were your? We talked about this at length in our on our show, but the Arnold Adams Alan Belcher fight. What did you think about that heavyweight title fight between those two boys?
It was a funny one, wasn't it? Because I think Arnold started showboating, and that's what lost it. Like, I think he would have beat Belcher because I think he went down and he got a 16-second count or something. But it was because Arnold was busy having a little dance, as he was getting counted. And if he had just ran over to the other corner, I think he would have won the fight. Mm-hmm. But then has Arnold blew his knee in the middle of the fight or something? I don't know what happened. I think if you look, it looked like Arnold hurt his knee. So he got caught. I don't know if it was that or he just ran out of steam. He just gassed out. But it definitely looked like he buckled his knee and he fell over and didn't get back up. But if Arnold stops all the dancing, I think he would have won that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
an interesting one.
Yeah, it was very interesting, and one of my favorite refs we won't get into that right now, but he had like you said, the long count. He also had a count where Arnold Adams fell. He ruled it a slip, and then Arnold Adams turned around and said, "What's the count?" And he was like 8. And then Arnold Adams got up, but it's like, what are you talking about? First of all, you said it was a slip, and then you didn't even count. And now you're saying it's at 8. Like, so it was a very confusing situation. And yeah.
Well, when I fought Arnold, I definitely thought I dropped Arnold in the second round.
Yes.
And he got taken over to a neutral corner or a neutral part of the ring, and he didn't get a count. So, because obviously I was that tired at the time, I got a cut in the first round. I remember coming back in the corner, went, "Has he cut us?" And they went, "Yeah." And in the second round, I knew I dropped him because I was standing over him, looking at the ref, saying he's went down. And I went back in the corner, I went, "Did he count that?" And he said, "No, nothing. It just sinks your heart a little bit, you know, like when you're not sure what's happening."
Yeah, it was an interesting one. I really thought that Arnold should have retained the title there, and a rematch with you was somewhere in line for sure. Lou brought it up that Panda Banks fight that you guys had was a title eliminator. Do you recall them telling you that this is for a shot at the title?
100%. It got announced on the thing.
There you go. So I think there shouldn't be a conversation about who's going to be fighting for that vacant title. It should be you and whoever they decide.
There's a couple of good fighters still, and I would like to see. Obviously, if I win, if I do get the title shot and I can win, obviously you've got then Rothwell. He's going to be very good. I'd like to see Cutler back, and I think Tate needs a good shot. Tate's got good knockout power.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think he definitely needs to get more fights in. I think because he's a dark horse. He knocks people out. He knocked Josh clean out, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. What are your thoughts on Lorenzo Hunt though? Lorenzo is very vocal about wanting to move up to the heavyweight division and go for a third title in a third division. Thoughts on him and possibly him coming up and being the other guy?
Lorenzo Hunt's one of my favourite fighters to watch. I think he's the full package. He's explosive. He's got good punch power. He moves well. And he could be exciting. And I think any heavyweight will tell you this, you know when you're sparring or you're fighting, it's the little ones that are the nightmares because they're faster. So Lorenzo's really explosive and he's got good head movement. He comes really low and he comes over the top with big looking shots. Can he take the power? Probably can. I think anybody over 14 stone punches hard. So like I think he'll fit in. I think if he gets in there, he'll fit in well.
I would love to see it just to see what happens there. And we saw Mike Richmond put on a decent fight against Lorenzo, and Mike Richmond used to fight really, really light. He's moved up over the years, of course, and he gave him a good run for his money in the first round. Yes, it did end in the first round, but it was I haven't met anyone outside of Lorenzo himself that didn't love that fight. You know what I mean? And I think Lorenzo really loved it, but he ain't gonna move on that one. He's not gonna budge. He's like, I ended it in the first time I ever knocked down anybody out in the first round. So, but
great fight that one.
Mick, I want to thank you for coming on. We do have Danny Christie waiting in the wings right now. Do you have any final words about this weekend and some shout outs that you want to do before we get you out of here?
No, I'm just looking forward to a good show on the weekend. I can't wait to watch it. There's always knockouts in it. That's what it's all about. I don't care like if the great standard of the we call it windmillers. And if they're just windmilling, if somebody gets knocked out, it's great.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were saying wine miller because there's a guy named Wine Miller, but windmills. You're talking about windmills. You're talking about
just coming in there, just gung ho.
In England, we call them chip shop rollers. They usually not have fish and chip shops over yours, but that's what it gets called. Usually, if there's a fight outside, we have a fish and chip shop, and if you get a fight outside, that's what it gets called, chip shop rollers.
Chip shop rollers. Nice. Awesome, man. Well, hey, thank you for letting us know that you're going to be back in action in December. I can't wait to hear the news about who it's going to be against, where it's going to be at, and hopefully it's for a title. Lou, you got anything else for Mick before we get him out of here?
Yeah. What did you do, Rob, on his the last thing? Did you see what Robert Barry on his UK debut?
That was a good fight as well, by the way. Robert Barry versus Ben Bonner. They're both going to be big stars in the future, I think. But we managed to get this water bottle, and I had a 5-inch dildo stuck on the end, and the water come out of the end of the dildo. So it was funny. I was going to give him it in the first round, but we realised Ben Bonner was really good, and I didn't want to put Robert off by giving him a dildo in the first round. So we're just about to go out, and our corner man Andy, I says, Andy, I think we're going to have to wait till the end of the fight. And Robert's had the fight. He's knocked Ben Bonner out, and then he's come over and he's gasping for a drink. And the cup man's on him, so I just tried to sneak it in the corner. And as I've actually got the bottle here. 2 seconds.
Nice. Yes.
Oh, that's great.
I love this. Thank you, Lou, for bringing this up.
So that's the water bottle. So I was saying get some of that in here.
Oh,
that was live on the pay-per-view as well.
Nice. I love that.
He wasn't my friend after. He wasn't my friend.
Oh, that's amazing.
Don't want to throw him off with a fake dick in his face, you know?
But I thought it was quite nice. I waited till the end of the fight. I could have done it in the first round.
Yeah, because you're a gentleman.
That's me.
Only a gentleman would wait to the end of the fight to slam a dick in your face.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice guy, Mick. That's what they call us. Nice guy, Mick.
Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on again, and hopefully we can get you on again soon, and maybe we'll see you live. So that would be fantastic, man. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, and here's to the fights tomorrow.
Thanks, fabulous. Cheers, lads. See you
later.
See you later.
Bye, mate.
Later.
All right. Well,
that was
let's
great.
Not waste
Hey, thank you for bringing that up, Lou, because that's hilarious. And I don't know if you guys just saw that, but a bee just
no, I didn't.
I was like, dude, I'm gonna get stung by a fucking bee in the middle of the damn podcast here. This is great.
That would be great too.
But it flew off.
Try to get that done before the end. I would love to see it. All right. Well, let's bring him on now. He's been waiting patiently. We had a little bit of technical difficulties getting Mick in here, but we got that done. That was fantastic. And so let's bring on our final guest of the afternoon/evening here. Danny Christie joins us. Hey, what's happening, man?
How are you doing? You all right, Mike, Mish, and Lou? How's the boys?
All right, Dan.
What's going on, man? I can barely see him. I don't know if it's just me, but
maybe just a bit dark in here.
Yeah, it's a little bit dark. Danny, thank you for coming on the show. We are excited to actually talk to you. And we don't, like Mike said earlier, we don't get a lot of UK fighters on here because we usually broadcast 9 p.m. Eastern time, which is like 2 a.m. for you guys.
Yeah.
So we had an opportunity. We're out here in Denver for BKFC 50. We're going to see the 185-pound champ Lorenzo Hunt put the 205-pound belt on the line against Chris Camozzi. I'm sure you're interested in that one. And, we're excited to have you on, man. So thanks.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
And we got our new friend, Lou Fuse, here to join because, he's a big time guy over in the UK, also on the BKFC app like ourselves. And we figured why not make it a nice collaboration episode, an all UK event here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I must admit, I was laughing there listening to the banter before with Mick and that. I was laughing. So yeah, well done. You've come together and you've made it happen.
There you go. So Danny, man, you're 3-0. You're holding the BKFC UK light heavyweight strap. We thought your next fight was going to be against the man himself, Lorenzo Hunt, but we got some news dropped on us this morning. You got yourself a fight. You're taking on this man, Captain Deadpool, Jared Warren, in November. Awesome news, and we're glad we heard it this morning because here you are, and we get to talk about it. So, what are your thoughts on fighting Jared next?
Yeah, I'm excited. Listen, I'm just, you know what it's like. You wait about for fight news, and it gets incredibly frustrating at times. On the certain fights you want made, and you have difficulties making them. So, I've never said no to any opponent, or I've always asked for the best available opponents, and that's how it is. If they send me the best available opponents, I say yes. And that's how it's gone so far, and that's how it'll always be. You know, I'm not the type of person to say, "Oh, I'll fight this one over here, but I'm not going to fight that one over there." You know, I want the best available lads, and that's it. And as it happens, the best available opponent at the minute is Jared Warren. So, you know, he can have it. He can have it on the 18th of November.
Yeah, man, I actually like this fight a lot. Jared's exciting every time he goes out there. His last time out kind of was a letdown because it ended with the fucking, the shot to the back of the head, no contest. So that was a disappointment. But the man over there to my side, Lou, brought up the fact that was for an interim title against Josh and Jared. So I'm wondering, was the conversation between you and the bosses? Is there an interim title or something like that on the line here with you and Jared, or are they guaranteeing a shot at Lorenzo next? What's the talk?
Not that I'm aware of. You know, listen, I wanted Lorenzo Hunt next. That was no secret, but Lorenzo Hunt's the man. He can fight who he wants, when he wants. If he wants to go up to cruiserweight and defend his title up there, that's his business. You know, I'll just keep knocking them out on light heavyweight, and I'll see him early next year. I'm looking to make a statement against Jared Warren, who is a tall, rangy southpaw. Haven't fought a southpaw for a little while. I love fighting southpaws. I love fighting anybody. So I'm looking to make a statement. I think once I get in his face and I get into gear, you know, I don't think he's going to last long in there, but this is bare knuckle. Anything can happen, and I've got total respect for him. And, you know, you'd only have one good punch away from getting murked, aren't you? So that's why I love it.
That is the absolute truth. I mean, the last, you just hit the nail right on the head. The Mike Richmond, Lorenzo Hunt fight is your statement that you just said personified. One good shot away from ending the entire thing. Mike Richmond was winning a minute and 40 seconds of that first round. Got the knockdown. Lorenzo got up on the 8 count, and all it took was that one shot, man. One shot, curtains. So fucking crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a fight and a half. You know, I'd have loved to have had a showdown with Mike Richmond, but you know, as he said, he's slid out of the rankings, and I think he's had enough of fighting, and he's had a brilliant career. It's been good watching him. I've been a big fan of Mike Richmond, and I was hoping I could have got that fight on, but listen, we just take what's in front of us. Mundell's number one. I've got a feeling Mundell's not going to come back to light heavyweight, and why would he? So, you know, I'll chin this Jared Warren, and you know, and that'll be it. I'll have some time off, and whoever they're going to put in front of me next year, hopefully it'll be Lorenzo Hunt, and you know, I'll do a job on him as well. Just a matter of time.
So about the belt itself, the UK belt.
Yeah.
Is there talks about like exactly what they're going to do with that belt? Like, how does that work when it comes to the actual title and that belt? And so earlier when we were talking about this, Jahan, who is the trainer for Jared, saying no belt is on the line. So it's like, there's no belt. The belt is vacated for BKFC, the actual like world BKFC title. But then you have the title. So no belts are up. Like I get so confused with the belt situation here.
Well, I think if he was a fighter from the UK, would be fighting for my UK title. But you know, I don't think, as far as I'm aware, I don't think he can hold the UK title because he's not a UK fighter. As far as I'm aware, I mean, if they want me to put that belt up, I'll put that belt up. But it hasn't been mentioned yet, and how it works really is, you know, the belt's mine. No one's going to take it. Whoever they put in front of me is going to get knocked out. That's going to keep happening until I get the world gold, and then I'll have a couple of belts, and I might have had enough of it by then. But until then, I'll just keep knocking them out.
Go ahead, Mike.
So I was going to say, because I think everybody's kind of learning as we go here, right? Because we have Thailand titles, we have UK titles, and then we don't have US titles. We have world titles for
That's
the
right.
BKFC, right? So it seems as though anybody can win in the world with the world titles, but if you're not a UK fighter, so to say, or a Thailand fighter, then you cannot win those belts. It's kind of right, isn't it? It's like a little odd, but now that
it seems that way. I mean, I haven't read the terms and conditions, but it sounds about right.
Yeah. I'm just
I
kind of rolling the
think
dice, whatever sticks.
I think the UK title should be like your ticket to the big fight, your ticket to America, or your ticket to the world title fight. Do you know what I mean? Like a sort of title eliminator, not a UK title, not interim title. Sorry.
It's sort of like, it cements your place, like just like when Britton Hart won the 115-pound title, I believe she was supposed to fight Fanny Palumpi, who is the 115 Thailand fight champion, but the Thailand belt wasn't going to be on the line there. Fanny Palumpi, the Thailand champion, was going to come fight Britain for her belt, which is just a little weird that, you can lose, you can go fight, lose to Britain, and then go back home to Thailand and still have your belt on your shoulder. It's a little interesting. It's a little weird.
Well, it's like that in the pros as well, though. When you get your Lonsdale title, your British title, English title, British title, if you're a British champion and you go over and lose on an international contest, whoever you lose to outside of Britain, they don't take your British title. That's yours. That's because you are the domestic champion, and until you beat on domestic level, you'll remain so.
Awesome.
Sure.
Well,
yeah.
It's like some world champions in pro boxing, don't they? The fight they'll be world champions, hold the belts, but they'll take a fight and not put the belts on the line.
Yeah, there'll be like a WBA,
Sometimes they've
IBA,
lost, haven't they? They've
WBC.
lost before.
That's right.
Crazy.
So Danny, you came from gloves boxing, right? And I don't know how many fights you had. I thought it was like 19 pro fights, right? or
19 amateur fights, yeah.
Amateur fights. Okay. When bare knuckle, when BKFC came around, I mean, you didn't fight in BKB or any of the other bare knuckle companies, did you?
No.
So what made you decide to make that transition over to bare knuckle? And was it just the fact that BKFC is the top of the pecking order in the sport itself? So if you're going to do it, you're going to go with the biggest one?
Well, there was a few factors actually. First one, why I'd never been interested in, I'd stopped boxing. I stopped boxing years ago. I hadn't had a competitive fight in the ring for 10 years. I've got a high mileage body, a lot of injuries. But I don't know what you call them in America. Like maybe what do they call straighteners, Lou? It was like a gym fight.
Yeah, like
smokers. You call.
Basically, he had a bit of beef with another guy, a bare knuckle fighter over here.
Oh.
And basically they just met up and had it out in a gym, bare knuckle in the ring, and settled the problems in the ring.
Yeah, and the fight was filmed live. It was like videoed live, and it blew up. It went viral. Yeah, it was literally all over the world. It got like millions and millions of hits and
like newspapers, everything.
Yeah, and about I don't know, I was having a real bad time at this time. I was in active addiction. My life was a mess, and 14, 16 months ago, or something, I got clean, and about 5 months into my clean time, I got a phone call from a representative of the BKFC wanting to know if I wanted a 3-fight contract and would I fight at Wembley? Would I fight some ex-MMA world champion, some Bellator veteran in my debut? And I said, yes, please. I thought, why not? The window's closing because I'm nearly 40 years old and I've got a lot of injuries, but, it's not closed yet. And I look at everyone in that 185-pound roster and, I know without uncertainty, I can chin them all. So I'm not going anywhere till I've done so.
Wow. Now, your first three, so you just said, you mentioned a 3-fight contract. You've already fought 3. So are you on your second, are you going fight to fight now? Or did you sign another multi-fight contract?
Yeah.
Where do you stand right now?
Yeah, I just signed a 5-fight deal.
Nice.
So yeah, that was nice, and it's just one of the. It's just look. It's just it's a privilege. You know, it's an honour really to be involved in this organisation. Some of my bare knuckle heroes who I love are on this. You know, I'm just as much a fan as I am a fighter. You know, I don't miss any fights. I don't miss any shows. I know every single fighter on the roster. I'm a fanboy just as much as I'm a fighter, and just to be in the middle of it and to be headlining another event. You know, it's a buzz, man. It's a proper buzz. And now the contracts have just been signed, the fight's made. So what happens then? You're up an hour earlier. I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning going running. You know, and it just puts that fire up your ass, and it's just an incredible time to be involved with it as well, isn't it? When it's grown at the pace that it's grown at, and it's in God knows how many countries across the world. It's just when it's wrapped up, and I've got that world title at home. You know, it'll be a good story for the kids, and it'll be a good legacy. It'll be something nice to leave behind. You know, because I'll probably only be fighting for another year or so. We'll see.
Wow. Well, hey, congratulations on the sobriety. I think you said 14 months. That's a big deal. And I know that you mentioned your kids. I think you got a handful of them, right? What do you got? 5 kids?
Yeah, I got 5 kids.
Ooh, man. Oh my
It's a busy
God.
house.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
are they?
busy house
What are the
and empty pockets, you know.
Of course. What do the kids think about? Did your kids watch your bare knuckle fights? And what do they think about all the blood if they did?
You know, mixed emotions, mixed feelings with him. My son loves it. My son loves what want me to do with my eldest daughter, not so much. You know, my youngest, they're not exactly thrilled when I come home with my face in the way it is, but they've asked me to stop once or twice, but I've convinced them to let me go on a little longer, and I've got myself into this position now by beating the best fighter in the UK and knocking him flat, you know, doing what nobody else could do to him. Now I'm number 2 in the rankings. I would just, if I walked away at this stage, I'd probably get to my early mid-40s and kick myself that I never went for it when the opportunity was in front of us and when I was physically able. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm devoting and dedicating my whole life to this sport, and in another year's time or something, I'm confident I'll be world champion, and who knows, I don't know what I'll do, but you know, I don't think I'll be fighting in another 18 months.
Now, you just mentioned beating Anthony Holmes. We were talking to Lou about that. Lou, you said you haven't missed a live event yet for the BKFC over there. The buzz in the room when he dropped Anthony in that 4th round and ended it. Talk about the pop in the room, and then did you two get together afterwards and talk it over?
Like I said earlier, mate, it was one of the best nights I've ever fucking witnessed, man. It was unbelievable. What it done? It was fucking unbelievable, wasn't it, mate? There was nothing like it.
A great night.
Unbelievable. And it was just the whole, because obviously close people around Danny had Danny's back, but not many people really thought Danny was going to win this fight. Whether Dan?
No, it's right. It seemed to be that was a general opinion, I think, and rightly so. He's a very good fighter in his own right, undefeated, and
the fighters come from your own sport are all good fighters, aren't they?
Yeah, he's beat all the best lads in the UK, hands down. I mean, and a lot of the lads he's beat, like I say, some of them are like my bare knuckle heroes. I just love watching these lads and the respecting that I've got for them and what they do. It's, I mean, the way I fight, I probably couldn't have a 12-fight career, you know, because I fight with my face first and I'm easy to hit. And I don't mind that, but like you see some of these fighters have had like 15, 16, 20 plus bare knuckle fights. I mean, you've got to salute these boys. You know what I mean? It's you have to salute these boys, because another 2 or 3 fights for me, and you know, I don't know how much more my body can take. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I can just imagine.
I don't know how much more my body can take, and the pain that comes after the fights is like, you know, you may as well have been attacked by about 3 or 4 men with koshes. You know, it's not any kind of fun. But, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? We do what we do, and we've just got to be careful. Like I say, I don't think we're very fortunate that there hasn't been a serious injury yet in bare knuckle to sort of cast, you know, this shadow over the sport. You know, it's had a good run at the minute, and I hope it stays that way, because it's just that dangerous, isn't it? And we're only ever one good punch away from, you know, from changing the rest of our lives. So, all right, it's entertainment for the fans and that, but you know, it gets to a certain point where you've got to start considering your health. You know.
Yeah.
You know, you brought up it takes one good punch. Now I don't want to like get way off track. Over here in the United States, at a football game,
I was just thinking about this when he said
dude. When you said all it is one punch can take your whole, can change your whole life. Check this shit out, guys. New England Patriots versus the Miami Dolphins at Gillette Stadium this past Sunday. A Dolphins fan gets in a fight with a New England Patriot fan. The dude hits him, knocks him cold, unconscious. Guy never comes back to fucking consciousness and dies.
Yep.
One punch.
Yeah.
That happens every other week up here in nightclubs and that. Every other week it's happening in England.
It's just fucking crazy. One punch, man. All it takes is one punch. That Dolphin fan threw that punch. He didn't think he was going to take this dude's life, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, Lou, look how many times that happens up and around here, up and around, you know, the north. People, how many people dying off being punched, and it's like, no. How can I put this? Right. Okay. So you've got and let's just say an average man in the street hitting somebody and changing the rest of their life. Yeah, it's extremely dangerous. A punch coming from anybody, anywhere, at any time. These aren't anybody anywhere in the BKFC. These are trained athletes. These are gladiators. Their sole purpose is to annihilate the other man's face. You know, so you're not just dealing with average Joes here. You know, you're talking about the best bare knuckle fighters on earth. So, you know, you're rolling the dice every time. Make no mistake about it, you're rolling the dice.
And they train 3 months for specifically you.
Bingo.
Right. Yeah, it is pretty crazy that trained fighters training, some of them their entire lives, go out there and beat the hell out of each other for, you know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, five straight rounds, and just beat the hell out of each other. And everyone's at the end like, hey, yeah, a couple cuts. I can't wait to fight again. You know, and then you got this poor guy fucking get hit at a football game, and that's it. Lights out, and never came back on. Guy's never coming back. It really is wild. I was thinking earlier, you know, we were talking, I forget what we were talking about earlier, but I was thinking about fighting and how the culture of the UK, when you think about well, maybe not you guys, but when I think about it, like you guys have like a fighting culture. There's a fighting culture there. You guys get the bare knuckle fights. It's been happening for a long time. But also, I think a lot of people have seen this movie called Green Street Hooligans. You guys seen that movie before, right? About the football firms, right? Going out there and fighting soccer games and shit like that. Like, I feel like that is just a normal occurrence. At least that's the way that Americans look at it from, you know, from our point of view anyways. Is it like that there, or is it just a perception of reality?
I'll let you answer that, Dan.
And I got to mention the underground fights that Lou goes to.
Yeah,
it's not like Green Street.
No, it's nothing like Green Street. But it's just, I don't know. I think you're right. You probably the culture is probably the word. You know, it seems to be instilled a bit more in our country. In our culture, there's no. I mean, there is elevated levels of violence, gangs and guns and all that stuff, but not really. You know, not really. Not on the scale of fighting each other. It's just seems to be an English thing. You know, it's just probably in our blood. We're an island race, aren't we? And we just love to fight, and that's it.
And just for a caveat to this too is, I do feel like because of that culture, I see a lot of fights right on. So okay, I go on Facebook and I come across this street fight, I see a lot of them where it's just a crowd of people and there's two guys and they clearly don't like each other. They fight, but if someone falls, everybody jumps in. Nobody kicks anybody when they're down. Nobody jumps in and hits anybody. You don't get stomped out. Your head doesn't get stomped into the curb. None of that. They let the guys back up. You want to continue fighting? Sure, they start fighting again. They could fight for 5 straight minutes. And then it's like, okay, they're good and they go their own way, or maybe they make up. I don't know. I rarely have ever seen that in my entire life where I live or around here. It's a lot of people get jumped. It's just over. There's no like man-to-man fights. I don't see that shit happening over here. I feel like I see it all the time over there.
Yeah.
Like a fair one-on-one, you know what I mean? Like,
Nobody fights. Yeah, nobody fights a fair one over here anymore, Mike. You're right.
No.
It might start with 2 people, but very quickly it could be 8 people just stomping that one dude out, and it happens way more often than a one-on-one for sure.
I'll tell you what was bad, what I've seen over your way, when HD, Howard Davis, got slide battered by that other bare knuckle fighter. That was out of order, that, especially when he had a pot on his arm.
Alex Cherney, yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking, that was a cunt trick, that. When he wasn't looking as well.
Yeah, that was at Tampa too, between fights.
So, you know what? We were there, and we didn't know any of that shit happened. And, like, Mike and I, after the event's over, we usually do an interview with the president. We do an interview with Feldman. We try to interview the 2 main event fighters before we get out of the building. So we're going back to the hotel thinking that we're going to walk into the lobby and there's going to be an after party going on. And we're like, me and him are like smiling and like jovial. And we're like, all right, time to have a good time. We walk in, there's like this ominous fucking mood in the lobby. And we're like, what the hell's going on? And you're like, so many people were like, you didn't hear what happened? And then all of a sudden we're on social media and a bunch of people are like posting videos. Yeah,
like
what a buzzkill that was.
Did you see it, Dan?
Doesn't ring a bell, mate, no.
He just stood there like HD, Howard Davis, big pot on his arm, had an operation, arguing with someone. He stands behind him, this other fighter, and just absolutely wallops him, mate, right on the button from the side, or while he's at the top of like a flight of concrete steps, mate.
Yep.
Yeah, right, what Lou was saying. So Howard is in a verbal confrontation with a guy in front of him. The kid comes from the side over here and just blindsides him, just pop. And then he falls, and then everybody like jumps in, and there's kicks, people kicking, and it was a fucking ugly scene. Yeah, that's no good, man.
No bueno.
No bueno.
Battery on my MacBook's gonna die, and I haven't got my charger with me, so
yeah. Well,
if it goes off.
So
all right. Well, hey,
I'll get off as well. I'm going to get my head down.
Sir.
Thanks for the invite on. It's a pleasure speaking to all 3 of you. Keep in touch, and we'll do something again in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you
Danny,
so much.
As it gets closer to your fight in November, we'll definitely set something up and get you back on here. We'll talk about it again. Thank you very much for coming on. Lou, thank you for coming on and collaborating. This was fun.
Bye-bye for now.
Thank you very much, lads. Speak to you soon, yeah?
Yep. Thank you so much, Lou.
Ta-da, ta-da.
All right. There it is, man. That was our first all UK show, Mike.
All UK all day.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was cool.
Dude, Mick Terrell's a funny bastard, huh?
Oh my God. I loved it. I love that Lou brought that story up because I just didn't know. I did not know about it. So I'm glad that he stopped to bring that up because that is funny. And now, I mean, I don't remember him saying this, but was that on video? Because I got to see this.
I don't know. I'm going to have to go back to the event and try to see if it was on there. Yeah, we didn't get to talk about. Do you recall that Danny Christie versus Anthony Holmes fight? Did you watch it? Do you remember it well enough to talk about it? Danny Christie showed a level of toughness and perseverance in that fight that.
Yes, I know which one you're talking about.
That's champion behavior. Like Misfit always says, champion behavior, champ shit only. This motherfucker, dude, was cut so bad, right in the worst spot you could possibly be cut, right above his eye, right along the eyebrow, just opened the fuck up. And it was bleeding a lot. He was cut over here too, and he had a few cuts, and he was bloody. So was Holmes. But where he was cut, I think that he fucking knew that if I don't knock this motherfucker out now, they're gonna stop this fight because of the cut, because of the placement of the cut.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when it's above the eye and it could bleed into the eye, that's usually a definite. The doctors are going to jump in there soon, and he showed a level of grit right there in that fourth round of that fight that showed a lot to me. I knew he was already something because his first fight was awesome. It was a back and forth bloody war, like, you know, that was a great fight with Brazier, right? Terry Brazier. Brazier, yeah. And then the second fight was quick. He knocked the dude down I think 3 times in the first round, and it was over. But I just, in that Anthony Holmes fight, Danny Christie impressed me so much in that fourth round because he was in trouble. I mean, he wasn't getting beat up, but those cuts were going to be a problem. And it could have very well ended after that fourth round. If he didn't put him down in that fourth and they had the doctor take a look at that cut, he may not have been going out there for a fifth. And he had that fucking get it done now mentality, and it was fucking awesome.
Hell yeah. Yeah. No, I remember it was awesome. That was a great fight.
Yep. Cool to see that he's fighting. Mick Terrell dropped a little nugget of info on us. He said he's going to be fighting in December in the United States. Obviously, we don't know shit, but what Perry said on Ariel's show might have a location for us in December. If it's there, man, man, that card
putting those puzzle pieces together, right?
Yeah. That the principles of detection would tell us that it's probably going to be where Mike Perry said it was going to be.
Yeah,
and I'm excited to hear that. We have a event to go to tomorrow.
Yes,
we're going to be heading to the weigh-ins tonight.
Yeah.
Before we get off here, man, obviously the main event, we talked about it fucking endlessly about Camozzi and Lorenzo. We talked to Lorenzo today and yesterday. We haven't seen Chris yet. We're going to talk to him tonight. But other than the main event, Mike, do you have one on this card that you are just like, you know, the one that's pulling you in? Which one, other than the main event, you got one? Because I got 2 actually.
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to say that I am interested to see Yates versus Torres, because Torres is going on to his 7th fight, right? We know he's a dog. He's had some good wins. He's had some tough losses, but he always goes in there ready to fight. And then we saw Yates the first time that we came to Denver, right? He fought and he KO'd his opponent like immediately. I mean, it was like so fast. He knocked him out. He's got, you know, a good background. He trained with Vanderlei Silva. We had him on last week. I am interested to see this fight for sure. So keep your eyes open for that one, and all of them, of course. But the other one for me, and we sat with this guy this morning for breakfast, which I enjoyed sitting there. We just talked to Mick Terrell. We're talking about the heavy hitters here, the heavyweight division, Copeland versus Aurelius, and we know Copeland can take a beating, and we know he can give a beating. And Aurelius, last time he went out there, you know, him and Juan Torres, they went back and forth. And yes, the fight was not the best fight. The circumstances of that night being really late and that going the distance definitely added to that. Like, people were kind of getting like, okay, we want to get out of here. So I think that also added to that effect. But these 2 guys tonight, Aurelius is going to go in there, and he's going to be looking to get this win out, you know, erase that. He hasn't fought for a long time. He needs to get his name back there on the map. And Copeland, of course, we know what happened. He fought Ben Rothwell. It was a crazy fight. He probably would have fought until he literally freaking passed out and died, because he his corner had to stop the fight. This guy's too tough for his own good. He's going to come out there, and he's going to be they're both obviously going to be looking to knock each other out. Heavy hitters, man. The heavy hitters. Those are the fights I'm looking for.
Has there ever been a fight between two gigantic sweethearts like this one? Because we, like Mike said, we had breakfast with Aurelius today, and that guy is like, he's like Copeland. He's like the nicest guy, polite as hell. He's talking to anybody that's stopping by. He's taking pictures with people. Real nice guy. Like, I don't know how you wouldn't like Steve Aurelius if you had a conversation with him. Sit down and have some breakfast with this guy, and you're gonna love the dude. And Josh Copeland, you know, everybody, Cuddly Bear is everybody's favorite fucking Cuddly Bear. You know what I mean? So it's like two super nice guys that both happen to weigh about 250 pounds and hit like a Mack truck. So that one is interesting. You had two, I'll give you two. Keegan Vandermeer versus Dylan Weinmiller. Dylan Weinmiller is going out there for the fourth time in the calendar year. He's 2-1 right now. He knocked a guy out here in Denver last time we were here in like 7 seconds. Went on to tomahawk Steve Townsell. Actually went to war with Townsell, and I want to say it was a 4th round finish for him too. He showed us grit and balls, and to quote Kevin Garnett, grit and balls. He showed it in that fight against a super tough guy in tomahawk, and still had dynamite in his hands to put tomahawk down in the 4th. So Dylan Weinmiller stepping in there for the 4th time this calendar year, and even in his one loss against Tony Jenkins to start off the year, he was doing really well in that fight as well until he got stopped in the later rounds of that one. So Dylan Weinmiller, but he's fighting Keegan Vandermeer. We had him on the show last week. Really nice kid, good fighter. Trains at a great gym. Trains at a couple of great gyms around here with some real high level fighters, and we're gonna get the opportunity to see a little more out of him this time, because the last time he was here, he fought Vincent, and it kind of ended pretty quick in the first round, landing the loudest shot I think we've ever heard in a bare knuckle fight. So that one's interesting to me. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, I can't wait, because Weinmiller is on the fast track to a title shot. I think this guy is just ripping through. He's fighting often, and he's winning, and he's on his way. And then Vandermeer, we don't really know too much about him. He's a mystery to me.
Right. So that one jumps off the page at me. I'm excited to see that one. And then the other one, I mean, obviously this card has a bunch of them that I'm excited about.
Yep.
And my other choice would have been,
I think I know what it is.
Well, I was gonna say the feature bout, but I'm gonna swerve here. Swerve Cuts. I don't know if he's in the house, but I'm gonna swerve here and tell you Kerry Caprio versus Andrew Strode. We had both of them guys on the show last week. We know what Kerry Caprio is made of. We saw him against Tyler Randall. Tyler Randall's a dog. He got damaged in the first round of that fight against Rookie Randall. Came back, did his damn thing, and stopped him. And he's been off the map for a while. He's coming back, tough as hell, and he's fighting this kid Andrew Strode, who we learned a lot about last week. Extensive amateur career, USA boxing, Junior Olympics, Silver Gloves, and he has a 3-6 pro boxing record going into this fight. And those 3 fights, he let us know. A little 6-3, but those 3 losses came after tragedy in his life. So obviously we learned that. We didn't know that he lost his ex and his child in a car accident. So obviously he was going through some turmoil in his life at the time that he lost those 3 in a row. He's back now. We had a conversation with him. I'm extremely excited to see what this kid can do. You can go on his Instagram, see how fast his hands are, see him training with Floyd Sr. You know, he's training with high level boxing coaches. So I'm excited for that one. It's been too long for Kerry Caprio. after that impressive first fight for him to come back, and he gets himself a tough kid, and that one's very, very interesting to me.
So there are some of the fights that will be happening tomorrow night. Don't forget to tune in to the BKFC app or YouTube to watch the weigh-ins. We have the ceremonial weigh-ins. Actually, right now, what time is it here? So the official weigh-in should be over now. Everybody should be weighed in. They are probably out loving life, eating food, doing what they need to do. Go grab some corn dogs that we've been telling everybody about. There are some other fights. So we've got we don't want to go too crazy into these, but I'm just going to mention the Hudson versus Angel Corps. Cameron makes her return versus Franco, who we have not seen fight yet. We have Stafford versus Moda. Then here we go. We mentioned Vincent earlier because he fought Vandermeer, and then against Stadler. I almost called him Stradler. And I don't have any more fights here with the single poster. Those are all the ones that they broke out. So if we left any out, which I think there's a few, go over, get on Instagram, look for the card. They actually, BKFC put one out today asking for people's picks. They've got the whole card listed there. Cannot wait for it. Tomorrow night, we've got the fights. They're going to start early if you're in the East Coast. Well, no, if you're in the East Coast, same time. But around here, it's going to be nice and early for us. Starts early, ends early. And then we out to Tom's Watch Bar for the after party. As usual, Tom's Watch Bar. Get over there. It doesn't matter who you are and who you're here to see. You're all welcome at Tom's Watch Bar.
Absolutely. And get yourselves on the DraftKings, man. Watch the ceremonial weigh-ins. Do whatever you do to make your decisions on who you want to put your money on. But we do our extensive we look into these fighters quite a bit before we try to make any analysis on who we think is going to win what fight. But you know what? Sometimes you could take a look at a guy at the weigh-in standing on that scale and then staring into the eyes. Remember Marcel Stamps and Mike Richmond? I'm pretty sure Marcel Stamps lost that fight at the weigh-ins. And if you watch a weigh-in like that, you might go put your house on Mike Richmond the next day on DraftKings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So tune in, decide on who you're going to put your money on. Go over to BK Bet Shark. Maybe he can help you out. And shout out to our new sponsor one more time.
Yes, I was just going to say.
Yep, the Shave Parlor. Go ahead and check those guys out, Jay and Omar. Welcome to the team, fellas. We really appreciate you guys. Hopefully we can work together for a while. They're in Cape Coral, Florida. So if you're down there, you're in the area, get your asses over there and get
your hair did. They got the best fades and shaves in Cape Coral, Florida. 131 Del Prado Boulevard, Unit 101. Get over there. They are certified shave and fade masters and beard specialists. Get over to Jay and Omar and get that haircut. Get your hair did. Look good. Don't look like a POS. Clean up. Clean up. You can't be going out there and trying to represent yourself if you ain't looking fresh. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. You got to look fresh. So
I'm 100% going to go there when I visit the family. So.
Yep. And we saw Big Ben. I gave Big Ben a bunch of stuff that he's going to bring over to you guys. So.
Yep.
That'll be good. And one last thank you to Lou, Danny, and Mick for coming on today. The show was awesome. I'm ready to wrap it up. Mike, you got anything else for the peeps?
No, man. I am all done. I am ready to go to these weigh-ins in just a little bit. We got about an hour to kill, and we'll probably head over there and get some chatting done and, do our thing. Maybe get some interviews. I remember last time we were here, though, there's a lady that works there. She's kind of, what.
Oh, yeah.
So she might kick us out. So we can't spend too much. We're going to have to do a little bit early and not late this time. So we have to keep that in mind.
Dude, you know what? Remember there was a basketball hoop there? And Cranston and Feldman were talking about playing one-on-one basketball at the thing. When that lady was, telling everybody to get the hell out, them two were giving each other shit about, and Feldman was like, you could never beat me one-on-one in anything. And Cranston's like, let's go, let's play. That shit was funny as hell. And then I told Mike, I was like, you know what? We should have challenged them in a 2-on-2 basketball game. That would have been fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it would have been. But yeah, so let's go do that. Cannot wait. The fight's tomorrow. check it out. Get the BKFC app. Let's do this, Kyle. I'm ready to head out. Everybody, have a great night. Have a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed the UK show. Hope we can do more of these. And the last thing,
Peace.
peace.